Welcome back to the channel. I'm Pins Plays, and today we're going to be talking about exploration in Wuthering Waves. In the main city, there are several points of interest that involve exploration. First of all, let's talk about the Pioneer Association. In large open-world games like this, it's pretty common for them to give you bonuses for exploration in areas aside from just the chests or puzzles you solve or anything like that you get. The Pioneer Association offers awards for exploration. The higher rank you earn, the more rewards you get, and some of these rewards are pretty interesting. For example, at level 1, you'll get a loot mapper, which we'll talk about in detail in a few minutes. In addition to that, you get things like the ability to place temporary waypoints, which can be incredibly useful for different things if you're farming. You also can get things like the casket sonar, which is something else we'll talk about in a minute as well. In addition to experience, credits, the currency to use to pull for characters, and things like that. It is a very rewarding system, and since you're going to be out in the world exploring anyway, might as well get some extra rewards. You can see here you earn ranks for every 20% or so of the exploration you successfully do. This is my main account, so you can see I've done quite a bit of exploration. At this point, I have very little left to do. Most of mine are in the high 90s or 100% for each region, so something I'm still working on. You can see I do still have a few more goals here, but my overall exploration percentage is quite high. At the time of recording, it's actually not possible to hit 100% because a couple of regions, the Worming Bay, this one cannot reach 100%. I don't know if they're missing chests or they're going to be added in the upcoming update. In addition to that, I think there's also one other area. The Central Plains can actually only get up to 99% as well, it looks like. So it is not possible to hit 100 at this time, but that is something that they may add in the future, I assume, with further updates. In addition to that, it's also not possible to hit the max rank of the Pioneer system yet. Again, look for updates there. I expect that to be something that is reachable in the future, but for now, just know that it's not feasible to go for 100%. So, knowing that, there's a second system within the main city I want to look at while we're here. That is going to be the Relic Merchant. He takes caskets and trades them in for rewards as well, so that's just another bonus to doing exploration. Let's go over to him really quickly here. Alright, here's the merchant. As you find Sounds caskets out in the wild, you'll be able to turn them in for different rewards. I actually have maxed this because it is currently possible to max. However, on a new account, you'd start at level 1. You do meet this merchant in the story, but just so you know, it does go up to 10 ranks. They take increasingly more Seance caskets. For example, 3, 6, 9, 12, 16, 20, all the way up to, I believe, 115 total is needed to max it out. You get recipes, you get currency to pull for characters, experience, things like that. So a really good system to also incentivize you to do more exploration. Just keep in mind, he is located in the main city right here. So when you find enough caskets, feel free to go turn those in and gain some extra rewards. Now let's go on to how exploration actually works. I fast traveled to an area just to give you an idea of what to expect when trying to explore. You can see on your map here, I am in the Desert Highlands. My exploration progress here is 98%. Obviously, if you're just starting out the game, it's going to be much closer to 0 or 1%. Anything that you do in general is going to contribute to your exploration progress within an area, be that opening chests, solving puzzles, defeating monsters to open a little portal that gives loot as well. So if you're in an area and you want to know what you're missing or what things you can do to increase your exploration there, you can click on this compass and it will actually give you a breakdown of that area and what you're missing there. You can see I have all the beacons that are located in this area, which is the teleports. I have found all the caskets in this area as well. I am missing some supply chests, so I basically just need to walk around and figure out whether it be puzzles, defeating enemies to open a portal, or just supply chests that are well hidden in that area. Bobflies, which I'll put a picture up on the screen real quick. Those are just mobs that give you 10 currency every time you kill one. There are a limited number of them in the game, and those do contribute to exploration. Viewpoints as well are going to be points that look like a telescope on the ground. You can click those and it'll give you a new picture in your inventory that you can look at whenever you want. Some things to note about this: viewpoints are sometimes only available after you've done certain quests in an area to advance that region. So this isn't necessarily something that you can start out from the very beginning of the game and get 100%, just so you're aware. Something else I wanted to touch on: exploration quests. Almost every main area of the game, and you can see breakdowns here: Desert Highlands, Northfall Barrens, the Gorge of Spirits, Central Highlands, and so on. Almost all of these areas have an exploration quest when you've just started the game. Unfortunately, I have completed all the quests that are currently available on this account. I'll probably be going through on my Twitch account and doing a new playthrough on a second account soon, and if you want to, you can tune in there and see me progress through the exploration quests, just if you're curious. A lot of areas will start out fairly hostile for whatever reason. For example, I believe the Port City area down here, when you're in that area before you've done the exploration quest, you slowly lose hit points the entire time you're there. Once you do the exploration quest, it normally resolves whatever the issue is there. There are other areas of the game where you can be periodically slowed, or you can be, in fact, just kicked completely out of the area if you spend too long in there until you do those exploration quests. And that is going to prevent you from finding the treasure chests or doing puzzles or even fighting very many enemies. So the exploration quests are super important to do in any area before you get very serious about trying to push the progression rate or the exploration rate to 100%. This is a side goal. Exploration is not necessarily super important. If you're trying to push your account to the max, it's a great way to get some extra resources though. So I do recommend it if you're just really enjoying the game and want to spend some extra time doing something fun. Also, while you're echo hunting, which I covered in another video recently, it's a great way to find some extra puzzles or chests you might have missed. So you can kind of get a 2-for-1 there. While we're on the subject of exploration, you'll remember near the beginning of the video I talked about the Pioneer Association and some of the interesting rewards you can get there to help with exploration. You'll see in my utilities, I have access to temporary waypoints. There's a limited number of these and you do have to craft more with synthesis if you want to do extras. I haven't used too many of these, but I can see these being more useful in the future. In addition to that, there's also the loot mapper, which I'll show you in just a second, and the casket sonar. The casket sonar is going to highlight any caskets you might have missed along the way. If you're only missing a couple, this is a great way to find the ones that you've missed without having to go to a third-party resource and search through every single one possible to find it. I highly recommend these when you've explored an area pretty thoroughly but you're missing a casket or two. They are craftable with synthesis. I believe you start out with, I think, 5, and then you can craft more if you need to, so keep that in mind. In addition to that, we're also going to talk about the loot mapper. The loot mapper is an incredibly useful tool for finding chests, and that is, as you can see from my exploration, one of the harder things to do is to find a couple of chests you might have missed along the way. You can equip the loot mapper, and the crazy thing about it is it does not take any kind of crafting, it doesn't use any resources, and it is something that is completely spammable as long as you are out of combat. To use a loot mapper, I'll make sure that it is equipped in my extra utility action. I'll click the button to use it, and then it will show me whether there's any supply chests within this region. It doesn't look like there are. One thing to keep in mind though is there can be some that are hidden from normal view, like through following butterflies to it or solving a puzzle that makes a chest appear, that may not be evident by this. So this is mostly useful for just tracking the ones that are immediately visible, hidden under a cliff or something like that. So just keep in mind that this is not foolproof, but it will get you most chests in an area pretty easily. While you're out exploring, keep an eye out for NPCs that are non-threatening. A lot of times they'll give you a little quest to bring them a flower or something like that and reward you with some experience or pull currency or something like that. In addition to that, any interesting structures you see, a lot of times those have quests or minigames associated with them, even if it's not readily apparent. For example, I believe all of these towers have like a hacking puzzle that you can originally do for extra rewards. Thanks for watching the exploration guide. I hope you guys are enjoying your time in Wuthering Waves, and I will see you guys on the next one.